Hi everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a new process video for you guys today using only Amy Tangerine, old and new. So here's a look at the things that I pulled that I wanted to use for this layout. I have a lot of paper options here. I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go. Some from her new Better Together collection, some from Finders Keepers, and two thicker options. The Crafter from her Stitch collection and the white are from the newest collection. The font is called Thick and Thin. And then I also pulled out the sticker booklet from the Better Together collection. And I love all of the little elements in there. There's even an alphabet, and I bought it because there were a lot of stickers I thought would be great for journaling. I'm going to use these two 4x4 photos of my son, and I am going to be making a 12x12 layout today. Lest you think I am a liar, I know I told you I was not going to make any more 12x12 layouts last week, but I failed to realize that my son's album is 12x12. So until I run out of space in that, some of the pages about him are going to be a 12x12 size. So what I wanted to do is run a piece of pattern paper diagonally across the top of this aqua background paper. This is from the Better Together collection. And then I think I'm going to use one of these pieces from the Finders Keepers collection to run across the top. You can see here, and I'm embarrassed to admit I had some trouble figuring out how to do this. Perhaps it's easier with two 12x12 pieces of paper, but one of my options is a scrap, so I had to make it work a little differently than I thought I would. So I've narrowed it down pretty much to this leaf paper, and I wanted to bring out some of the orange and blue that you see in his blanket in the other pattern paper. That's how I ended up making this decision. I wanted to exhaust all the other options first. So basically what I'm going to do is just run this across the layout and then adhere it and cut it in place. I thought if I tried to use my paper trimmer to cut it before I had it adhered to the background that I would make a mistake and then end up not being able to use this paper at all. So instead of using the scissors to cut it, I did go ahead and use my paper trimmer to make sure I got a nice clean edge once it was adhered down. I thought about putting the scrap in the corner, in the bottom corner, but I really wanted this layout to breathe and feel light and bright, and so I decided to just leave the bottom right corner empty. Next, I'm going to go ahead and look at this cut apart sheet to see if there's anything that I want to use. I did end up cutting the little part that said "Love this dude." I don't end up using it, but I thought it was a great sentiment. I certainly do love him. It's not really my style to use those, so I'll have to figure out a way. I'll have to get creative and figure out a way to use those. Next, I decided that I want a little more contrast behind the two photos, so I pull this piece of paper from the Finders Keepers collection, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to go behind the photos. So once I decide that, then I realize, well, I need a little more separation between the photos themselves and the piece of pattern paper. So I pulled out a piece of paper from a paper pad that I have, whose design I'm not crazy about, and I flipped that over and I used the white side of that to map my photos. I have so many paper pads sitting around that I often use this instead of buying white cardstock. And then I realized that I want another layer of pattern paper there. Something's missing. It looks a little more heavier than I wanted it to. So I end up going through my pattern paper, and this sheet is from the Rise and Shine collection. I think I've included collections from the fall of 2014 all the way until now, the spring of 2016, so I thought that was pretty cool. They all go together really well. Now this is the next day, and I've had some time to think about this, and the more I thought about it, I realized that the navy blue was just too heavy on the layout, and I wanted it to, like I said, just be really light and bright. So I'm going to swap the placement of the pattern paper here, and I'm going to use the yellow right behind the photos, so I trimmed it down a little bit, and then I'm going to use the navy blue pattern behind that. I also went through the sticker booklet and pulled out some things from there that I thought I would use, and I put them on wax paper just to isolate them so I wouldn't forget to use them. Next, I stared at the thickers for a bit to figure out what I wanted my title to be. The journaling is talking about my son going out for a walk and not wanting to go back into the house until he's done reading his book. So I decided to go with the title after much contemplation, "Not Yet." So I'm going to go ahead and get those letters stuck down to the wax paper also so that I can move them around the layout. Now I'm looking to the stickers that I had pulled, and I knew that I wanted to use the yellow arrow to point to my title. And then when I put it down on the sheet, I realized how flat it looked next to the title, so I went ahead and used some foam adhesive to get that popped up and just to provide the same amount of dimension. Then I put the Aqua XO sticker to the right of the photo, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my title stuck down. As I'm putting the letter stickers down, I'm staring at the thicker sheet, thinking about changing the title. So I decided to change it to Not Yet Mom. And I really had a little struggle with this in my head because these are brand new to me, and I wanted to hold on to those M's and that O as long as possible. And I'm really trying to get myself out of that mindset of hoarding. If I end up running out of all of the vowels from this sheet, I tell myself that I can go ahead and buy another pack. And more often than not, it never comes to that because there are always new products being released. So there were no commas in this thicker pack, and I took the top of a question mark and cut that in the shape of a comma since I'm being directly addressed in the title. I feel like my high school grammar teacher would be proud of me. So then I'm going to go ahead and start on my journaling, and I'm showing you guys my Sharpie pen there. I got it to write on photos in my travel album, and it's great at writing on photos. I think Kelly Perky suggested it, and I got this at Walgreens, and it is such a fantastic buy. It's my favorite, my new favorite pen for journaling. So the journaling is talking about now that the weather is getting cooler down here, I go ahead and bundle my son up for our blustery 60-degree walk every morning, and we're walking around the neighborhood, and I usually give him a toy or a book and a sippy cup. And his current favorite book is First 100 Words, and so he'll look around the neighborhood while we're walking, but he's usually just looking at the pictures in the book of, food and animals and other babies. And so on this particular morning, we got back to the house, and he hadn't finished looking through it for the 600th time. So he didn't want to get out of the stroller and go into the house until he had finished it. So I was standing on the porch outside of our front door waiting for him to finish this book, and I thought it was hilarious. So I snapped this picture on the left to go with one that I had taken earlier on in our walk, and that's what this page is about. So next I'm going to go ahead and put these stickers around now that I know exactly where all of the must-have elements are. And as I'm putting the stickers down, I realized that I want something else in that corner with the date label and the XO sticker. So I go back to the sticker book, and I end up pulling this yellow border sticker, I guess, and I cut just a piece of it off, and I'm going to go ahead and layer that behind the date label. I also pulled out a navy blue heart to bring some more navy down to the bottom of the layout. Then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the date. And it's here that I think I'm done. So I actually went ahead and took pictures of this and edited them and had them all ready. And then as I'm staring at the layout, I realized that it just wasn't looking quite right. So then what I decided to do was move the stickers around. So I wanted to bring more stickers up to that yellow arrow and make a little cluster there, and then take that yellow star that was in the top right and bring it down to the bottom right. So if you guys are looking at this, now all of those stickers form a triangle around my title and my journaling, and I like the way it looks much better. And that's it. I ended up retaking my photos and everything, but I was glad that I went back and fixed it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in this Saturday for a new Heritage Scrapbook video. I'll see you then. Bye.